My dear students, wherever you are, it is a better one again to be here with you as we are going through our episodes of COVID-19. You are all aware that within this COVID holiday, we have so far discussed about a number of things, and I know you have covered a number of topics with Mr. Mr. Sechide Mustafa, and you remember that before you had to go in for that COVID holiday, we are teaching you two of us. So, I want us to continue from where he stopped, and he told me that we are going through the topic called internet and world wide web. I know you talked about a number of things about the introductory part of internet. We discussed about the definition of the term internet. What is internet? I remember, I think he told you that internet is all about the global connection of computers in order to share resources. That setup of a network on what you call a global level, that's what he called internet. That's what he told you. So that every time we think about internet, you think about that connection within here in Uganda, then Tanzania, USA, and so on. The setup of computers that are made to communicate to one another on what you call a global level. That's what you call internet. I told you about where internet came from, and that way discuss about the concept of ARPANET being a body that has the backbone, or that acts as the backbone of what you call internet we are talking about. Then from there, he told you about that if you want to connect to internet, what are some of the things you should do or you should have in order to have what you call internet connection. I told you that you should have what you call a device, a communication device. That device, an access device that can help you to access internet connection. That you should have an internet service provider, the company that is in charge of giving connections to you. Yes. And some other things he told you about. Today we are going to continue from where he stopped. We go through some other things that are about factors. So we are going to go through the factors that affect the speed of internet connection, the speed of internet. The number of times you hear people saying that internet is very slow or internet is very fast. So in this part, we are going to go through some of those things that makes or that leads the public to complain as to why internet is very fast or it is very slow. So we have a number of factors that determine the rate at which we are able to access the network. However, before we go through that part, I want to remind all of you that when you hear about the word network, some of us will think that the word network refers to internet. The term network is a broad thing that has a number of things within it. So internet is just one of the types of networks we have. So here, you remember I told you under your data communication that you have the LAN, you have WAN, then you also have what you call the MAN. Listen, those are categories of what? Networks. And then within the MAN, that's where we discuss about internet. So you should know that. Now, when I use the word network, is a general name that we can use to refer to all networks. So that's what I'm trying to mean. So we are now going to go through those factors that determine the speed at which we are able to access what you call faster connections or slow connections. My friends, still as we are going through, within the last minutes towards the end of our lesson, we shall also enjoy our discussion room. We see well, some of those things, so that I can get your views over what we are talking about. Remember, the topic we are discussing about is something that we are even using now. For you to access the lessons we are going through, you cannot do it unless when you are connected to internet. And but now, we are going through internet. So, at the end of this, or by the end of this topic, members should be able to know how to use internet very well. The issues that are related to complaining, or that every time you complain that today my internet is very slow, then the other day you say it is very okay. Those things you should know. I don't want to hear those complaints when you are through with this topic. So, let us to move on now to that part of the factors we are going to talk about. Okay, factors that affect the speed of an internet connection. So, okay, factors that affect the speed of an internet connection. That's what we are going to talk about. What will be the beginning point for us? Please, you're going to bear with me that there's some technical issues I'm handling here so that we can stabilize and we go through our lesson. So don't get worried over those few things I'm working on to stabilize our lesson. Okay. Now, factors that affect the speed of internet connection. I'm not in for that chat room for now. I would expect people to set out some factors according to you, some of those things you think. Please, I request you can contribute. Let us use our chat room very well. As we are going through, you can set out some of those factors you think that affect the speed of our internet connection when we are there, when we are using internet. The first one there, I'm saying computer processor speed. The computer processor speed. Dear students, my friends, wherever you are, you should know that inside those computers of ours we are using, inside the phone you use, there is what you call a processor. The processor acts as the brain of the computer. This is the part of the computer that is responsible for managing all activities. That are carried out by that computer. So all things you do, they are under control by what you call the processor. So it is within the processor that all things that the computer wants to do, they are worked out from. Now, strength of the processor matters a lot because it will determine the speed at which that computer will be able to work. So, my friends, we should know that chip, while seeing it now on the screen, that chip is the one I'm talking about. However small, you can see that it's very small in size. It is the brain, and they are built with what we call capacities. There is a way how they are able to function at a very fast rate. You can find one that is very slow, another one is very fast. For example, if I'm using a machine i3 machine or i5 machine, the other one using i5 machine will be able to see that its machine will be able to work at a very fast rate compared to i3 machine. So my friends, we should know that strength or the speed at which the processor is able to function also affects the rate at which we are able to experience our connections in line with what? With internet. So you'll find that your computer sometimes is very slow because your processor is also not very fast. So we should know that processor speed matters a lot in determining the rate at which we are going to experience good connections or what we call slow connections. So ask yourself before you complain that my internet is not very okay. My machine is very slow. You find that you have connected in the same type of network where other members are also connected. And for them, their computers or devices are working at a very fast rate compared to yours. And they are using the very bandwidth. Why? The processor inside your machine is not very fast. Yes. So processor speed is one of the factors. Next, another factor that is very important in determining the speed at which we are able to access internet or network is the distance data travels. A distance which data has to go through before it is able to reach to the final destination where it is going. So that distance is very much important. Sometimes when data has to go through a number of devices, for example servers, you have around 2 or 3 machines through which data has to go through before it is able to reach to the final device or that computer of yours you are using. You find that it may turn out to be very slow compared to one that is maybe flowing through only one server or only one machine. Yes. This one can also happen in situations where you have communication devices you are using. I have a switch, I have a switch, maybe even a bridge. Now data has to flow through those devices before it is able to reach to my device. You'll find that in such scenarios, I may experience what you call slow connections compared to the other one that is connected to a network where data is flowing through only one communication device. Maybe from the server directed to my device. For me, I may experience faster connections compared to the other one. That data has flow from maybe the server again to a switch, from a switch again to my device. That's why I'm saying that their actual internet speed will vary depending on the distance data traveled, coupled with how many servers it has to go through. So that's why I'm also saying that additionally, shorter cables or closer links to the routers may lead to faster connections compared to the other one, who is very far away. Eh? We have established an access point somewhere. Eh? For you around 5 meters from that access point. Even though the network is able to reach there, we also have another one who is available in a place of around 2 meters from the access point. So let's find that that person within that place of only 2 meters will experience faster connections compared to the other one who is situated in what you call 5 meters away from from the access point. So that one is a very important thing to know. So there I have the illustration of the servers, you can see them. So in the first place here, we have those 3 servers, and here I have around 4 of them. Data is flowing from those 3 servers to those devices, those computers around. And you find that the computers that are connected on this setup may experience faster connections compared to this one that has 4 servers. It will take a lot of time to flow through to access so that these devices are able to access. So here I may experience faster connections compared to the other one. Okay, good. My friends, let's continue. We go through some other factors. There is someone who is saying that Master Nangobi, the volume is very. Is there any way of increasing the volume? I don't know which volume he's talking about, but let us continue. Let us continue. Members, we go through another factor that affects the speed of internet connection. Another factor is about heavy traffic on the network. Heavy traffic on the network. The greater the number of computers on the network, we are saying the more internet speed does what? Reduces. In case you have very many devices that are connected on the network, I think that you have around 5 computers that are connected on the network. On the active network, you can try to determine the speed at which those devices are accessing. Then you connect some other 5. My friends, you see that when you connect some other 5 devices on that network, there we may experience what you call reduction in the speed of what? Connection. You find that those devices that are now connected, they may reduce their speed at which they access the bandwidth from that network. That's why I'm saying that the greater the number of computers or devices on the network, the more internet speed does what? Reduces. The more you connect more devices on the network, then you experience what you call zero connections. Why? Particular networks are allocated a certain amount of what? Bandwidth that they can allow to flow through at a particular time. In case we have more devices connected, what they will do there will be reduction in the bandwidth, making the devices to be very slow as they are accessing that network. That's why during some hours in the day, you experience some slow connections, and during some hours, you may find that you experience what you call faster connections. For example, during morning hours, when you connect to internet, you may find that the internet is very fast, but try to use the very internet during rush hours, you find that it is somehow what? So why at that particular time, according to the service provider you are using, there are very many other members maybe that are connected to that network. That's why it turns out to be very slow. The very factor applies even on what you call local area networks or metropolitan area networks. As more and more devices are connected, you find that you shall experience what you call slow connections compared to when devices are very few that are connected on the network. So as you are using the network, the more you connect more devices, just know that you may experience some slow connections. Why? The particular reserved bandwidth from the internet service provider is now being used by very many devices at what? At a time. Good. Let us continue, my friends. We look at another factor. Another factor is all about modem speed, the speed of the modem. You may also say maybe the speed of the hardware also that you are using, but let us now be specific to the modem. If the modem you are using the substandard one, the modem you are using cannot work at a very fast rate. You find that you experience what you call slow connections. All modems, routers, and others we buy to help us in the process of connecting to internet, they have what you call established speed. There's a certain limit where they cannot exceed, even if you want them to work at a very fast rate. Even if you want to experience very good connections, for them they are designed in that way. So in such a scenario, you find that if your modem is a substandard one with the low rating, you find that you experience slow connections compared to the other one with a modem with higher standards of rating. Okay, so modems we use, try to find out, as you are complaining that your internet is very slow, try to find out, is the modem you are using very okay? Can it work at a very fast rate? Check out on the supporting documents of that modem. Check out the ratings and compare them with some other devices. You'll be able to know that maybe my internet or my network is very slow because of the modem I'm using. So the modem is very important doing that. Let us move on, dear students, to another factor, natural conditions. Yes, natural conditions. We have what we call natural conditions. Natural conditions. Can members tell me, people who are there who are online now, please, you have what you call natural conditions. Have you ever heard about natural conditions? Do you know what you call natural conditions? Yes, natural conditions. Can we get members to take us through the natural conditions? Instability. So natural conditions, it's all about instability, and the connection is also commonly caused by what you call natural conditions. And this one is as a result of what you call weather, which is not what? Stable. In case the weather is not very stable, for example, there is a lot of rain outside, don't complain that your network is very slow. Just know that weather that's not very good outside is the one that is affecting that network of yours. During stormy or thunder, just know we may experience what you call connection. Why? The weather outside is not what? Is not stable. So during heavy rains, just know we may experience what you call slow connections. At least you can also see, or you have ever seen this during what? When you are using DSTV, or these days we are in for digital televisions. When it is raining, all signals, they are nowhere to be seen. Signals are being disorganized by what you call the weather which is outside. So instabilities in connection is also caused by what you call natural conditions related to heavy rain, storm, and so on and so on. And we advise that in case it is raining heavily outside, you leave the machine, don't even use them. Yes. Next, position of the routers and modems. This point is all about the places where we fix the modems and routers. Where do you fix the modem and the what? The router you are using. It's very important. You find some members, for them what they do, they fix their routers that are acting as access points for internet. Yeah, the routers or modems just below under the tables. Yeah. Please, those devices that are helping us in accessing our internet should be placed on what you call raised places on top. That's why you find that most of those routers, some of them are fixed outside on top of the buildings. Why? In case signals are flowing through space, they cannot easily be interfered with compared to the situation where we have buildings that are stopping them from flowing very well. So, router in what we call wireless networking, we are saying should be strategically positioned. The router should not be put below or under what we call tables, but rather we are supposed to put it what we call should be placed on what we call raised places. So every time you are thinking about connections, when you buy that router of yours or a modem you are going to use, please make sure that where it is fixed, there is no any interference around that is going to disorganize it from accessing the signals very well. In case you have placed it somewhere and you are connecting but it's not picking, just look for a place that is raised very well. You find that when you place it somewhere where it is raised very well, you find that the device will be able to receive signals and you get connected to internet or to a network. Good. Let us also go through another factor, hardware problems. Hardware problems. The hardware we are using, the gadgets we use, look at the phone you are using. Hardware itself may also determine the speed at which your device is going to access internet connections. Some hardware components within the devices you are using are designed in such a way that they cannot work at a very fast rate. So, a poor network card, a video card, or a signal receiver may reduce the speed of data being processed by your system. So it is very important to find out the hardware components that are attached to the computer you are using or to the device you are using. Are they able to work at a very fast rate? Maybe you have used them for a long period of time. The computer you are using, it has been in use for a long period of time. It cannot work at a very fast rate. You may complain that your network is very slow. Yet the problem is originating from the device you are using, from the computer you are using, because the hardware components that you are using, they have been in use for a long period of time. Therefore, they cannot work very well. And you complain that your network is very slow. So that's why I'm saying that slowing down the speed at which your computer can take information or that information that is coming in. The network card we are talking about, are you seeing that network card? Some of them, they have what you call the rating. Some are very fast according to the manufacturer, others are very slow. So find out the speed at which the network card that is inside your computer that you are using before you complain that your internet is very what? Slow, or your network is very slow. Maybe it is coming from the hardware components that are attached to your computer. So maybe you can see this one is a wireless one, a wireless network card. Yes. Those companies that are in charge of manufacturing those devices, those hardware components, they have particular speed limits that are attached to them. Some are very slow, others are very fast. So in the case you buy one, don't just buy it for formality. You have to find out all those things. Okay, let us proceed. Software problems. Sometimes you may experience slow connections, and those problems you may get them from what's called the softwares we are using. When you talk about softwares, we are referring to those programs that help us in the process of getting connected to internet. Those programs. That's what we are talking about. For example, the browser. I know where you are now. There is a browser you are using to access the lesson we are going through. Good. There is that browser you are using now to access the lesson we are going through. Maybe for you manage to access the lesson through using what you call Google Chrome. Another one managed to access the lesson through using what you call Mozilla. So you have to type the other URL, kiburiss.com, through that browser of yours. Maybe Mozilla, Opera, Google Chrome, and so on and so on. Now we are saying those softwares we are using to search for information that is available on internet. They also determine the speed at which you are able to access the internet. In the case you are using one that is not up to date, you find that you may experience slow connections compared to the other that is using a browser that is up to date. That's why I'm saying that you need good up-to-date web browser software to display the web pages efficiently. You may find that some content is not even displayed. You are looking for some information from internet, and you find that some content that is available on that particular website, on that website you are logging in at that particular moment, your computer may fail to display that information, and the problem is originating from the browser you are using. It is not up to date. So it is very important to find out whether the version of the software of the web browser you are using, it is up to date. You can see the list there. I've tried to mention some of them in there. The Mozilla, the Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge. These days you have Microsoft Edge, Opera, Apple Safari, and so on and so on. Make sure that as you are getting connected to internet, you are using a version that is up to what? Up to date. Otherwise, you may experience some slow connections because of the version of the software you are what? You are using at that particular moment. Let us go through another factor, that computer internet settings. Computer internet settings. The settings on that device of yours you are using. Some of us establish settings that may limit. That's why I'm saying improper computer setting can also affect the speed of the internet. Setting cap your firewalls, safe search, and the other options properly will improve the speed of what internet. Why? It will help you not to access those sites that contain information that is not proper or that is not in line with what you are looking for. All those sites that come with what we call computer viruses, you control them. So it is very important to know that setting computer settings or internet settings on our devices, they also determine the speed at which we shall be able to experience faster connections or slow connections. Then, another factor I want us to talk about is the memory available in the computer. Memory. You had me talking about the CPU, the central processing unit, the processor. Now we are talking about the memory. Yes. The two, they are very important in a computer. Why? RAM acts as the secretary to the CPU or to the processor. All things that your computer is going to attend to, they have to be stored temporarily in a place called RAM or the main memory of the computer. In case your computer has what you call enough memory size, then it will be able to work at a very faster rate. Likewise, or in line with what you call internet connection still, it will be able to connect at a very fast rate. Yeah? So when you are using more RAM memory on your computer, you experience faster connections compared to the other ones with limited. Check out, even the phone you are using, it has the particular amount of RAM. Yes, find out the RAM. You can go to the settings, then you go to storage, then you'll be able to see the amount of RAM of that phone of yours you are using at that particular moment. You'll find that that phone of yours maybe it has 2 GB, another one has 4 GB. The other one of 4 GB will experience what you call faster connections to internet compared to a 2 GB what? 2 GB, or that phone with a 2 GB RAM. So amount of memory available on your computer or device you are using to access internet will also determine the speed at which you will be able to experience connections. So limited amount of memory on the device you are using will lead to slow connections. More memory will lead to faster connections. Why? I've told you very well that RAM I'm talking about, this one, it is the one where contents that are going to be attended to by the central processing unit are stored temporarily, are stored for a short period of time before they proceed to the central processing unit. Even after processing, contents are also stored temporarily in RAM before they proceed to other areas of the computer. Then, malware, spyware, and viruses. In case your computer has what you call malware, the unwanted programs, spyware, the malware or malicious codes that are designed to cause improper behavior in our computer, the computer viruses. Yes, such programs. In case your device is affected by those viruses or programs, you find that your computer may not be able to work at a very fast rate or may not experience faster connections compared to the other one that's not affected by those programs. So that's why I'm saying viruses hinder the operation of programs on computers regardless of its processor strength. However much your computer is very fast, that is in terms of the processor, in terms of the memory. In the case that machine is affected with what you call viruses, you will experience slow connections. So make sure that your computer is free from such bad programs. Cookies, when we are surfing, we always go in for what you call automatic saving. Maybe you log into a particular site, then you click on auto saving of the particular password of that site you managed to log in. After a long period of time, that information is stored within that browser. So when you store there for a long period of time, you find that your browser may experience what you call problems when it is logging in or whenever you are using it to access other sites. So that's why I'm saying that when you are surfing, the browser keeps on collecting what? Information such as the passwords, and that one is stored on your local what? Drive, in a file that is known as what? Cookies. And I'm saying that over a long period of time, cookies can compromise the speed of your internet what? Connection. So make sure that every time when you are using your website, or sorry, you are connected to internet, those things that are saved automatically, you click on auto save the password, and so on and so on. You clear them for some time so that you can be able to reduce on the to manage what you call faster connection of your computer. Okay, let us move on to another factor. In conclusion, I'm saying there are very many other factors such as quality of the type of internet connection. Yes, the internet you are getting, maybe the other internet service provider of yours is providing internet connection that are very slow. That one may automatically lead to what you call slow connection. Yes. Maybe there are some other factors you people have not talked about. You find that such factors may also determine the rate at which you'll be able to experience either what you call faster connection or slow connection. And I'm saying that since we are discussing about the topic that's in line with what you call internet, you can go to your browser, you type there factors that affect the speed of internet connection. You will be able to see a number of other factors that you are going to get. Now, from that part, my friends, I want us to go to another part, and this part is all about internet services. We are going to discuss about services that are provided by internet. We have a number of services that we get because of internet connection. Those services, they are divided. We have those ones that are known as communication services. Others are in the form of information, where we access information from internet. Those ones that are in the form of web services, and also have what you call the World Wide Web. So World Wide Web is a service we get from internet. Don't confuse yourself and your friends that internet is the same as the World Wide Web. World Wide Web is one of the services we get from internet. Good. We have those communication services. I've told you we can easily communicate to other members through what we call internet. We shall see we are going to see the number of ways through which people are able to communicate to one another through what? Internet. The services we have, the first one is what you call the electronic mail. The electronic mail. Excuse me. We are going to have detailed discussion about electronic mail, which is it all about the exchange of digital messages over what? The network. We have what you call the telnet, a service that helps us to connect to other computers remotely. You are seated here, then you link to another computer through particular softwares, then you're able to communicate to another computer. You have those softwares we shall discuss about, such as AnyDesk, TeamViewer, etc. Those softwares can help us to link two or more devices, then they communicate to one another easily. But what I'm saying is you sit on one machine, then you have the authority to control another machine through a particular software. But the linkage that is established through the software, it is done through what we call internet. We have file transfer protocols, file transfer. We are able to transfer files from one device to another. It is a service we get. We have video conferencing. Remember, as we shall have a discussion about video conferencing. Video conferencing is all about audio, the business of exchanging audio and video at the same time. These days you hear people talking about Zoom. Zoom is a video conferencing software. There is exchange of both audio and video at the same time. You cannot access Zoom unless you have internet connection. So that is a service we are getting because of internet connection. My friends, you have the World Wide Web. I told you World Wide Web is also a service, and it's all about a collection of various electronic documents that are accessed over the internet. Then you have what you call e-commerce. We are also going to talk about e-commerce as a service available on the internet. The online buying and selling of goods. We can be able, these days people are able to buy and sell goods on what? We have electronic fax or e-fax. We have news groups and some others we shall talk about. Now, it is our duty to go through one by one. We are going to go through one by one. In case you have some questions, please, you can raise your questions and we go through them as we are moving on. But let us start now going through the first service. It is called electronic commerce. Electronic commerce is an electronic mail, the email. I want you to think about that scenario. You created an ordinary letter. Then you had to pack that letter within what you call an envelope. Then you requested someone to deliver that mail of yours to another person. You normally do it during examinations. Yes? In a way of wishing others success, you did. So mails can be exchanged through postal offices. Those are ordinary mails. Now, ordinary mails, we can use the general word, postal mails are exchanged. Now, electronic mail, it is the same way, or it acts as what you call the postal mail. But this time around, we are exchanging the very mail, but in what you call an electronic form. Yes, that's why I am saying it is an internet communication service which allow internet users to create, send, and receive mail messages electronically. So the very mails now we are exchanging them in an electronic form. The way you write the other postal mail using that pen of yours and the paper, then you deliver it to another individual through the postal offices. Now we are delivering the very mail, but we are doing it in an electronic way through use of our gadgets and internet. So electronic mail is a service we get because of internet connection. Let us move on. We are saying that in order for two users to receive or send an email message, they must have what you call an email address. They should have what you call an email address. The email address is the one that is in charge of defining you, who is in charge of creating that email, and also the other one who is in charge of receiving that email. So we exchange those email messages through the email addresses. Me who is creating the email message, I'm going to do it through use of my email address. Then I'll need to be with the email address of the other person who is in charge of receiving my email message. So that one takes us to the point that we shall go through the process of understanding how to create emails, and so on and so on. So by the end of this part of email, members should be able to create email accounts. They are called email addresses or email accounts. So an email address or email account is all about a set of characters that are required to send and receive what we call an email message. An email account is made up of 3 parts, or an email address is made up of 3 parts. You can see there now on the screen. It has the first part called the username, then followed by the domain name. So the username, the @ and what we call the domain name. Those 3 parts are the one we are talking about. So we are saying we have the username, you can see. Then there is what we call the @ then the domain name. So those 3 parts, the username, the @ and also what you call the domain name. The username is the one that is attached to you. Yeah. For example, Serubamba. Yes, for example, Serubamba at gmail.com. Serubamba at gmail.com. You can see this Serubamba is the username I'm talking about. The @ that is helping me to separate the username from the domain name, and this part is the domain name. This domain name is subdivided into 2, the top level and low level, but we shall see that. Now, there on the screen now you can see, consider the email address below. It is ad@yahoo.com. We are saying ad is now the username, the way I've tried to demonstrate using the email address on this paper. So, ad is now the username, and you are saying it helps to identify your account on the email server that handles the email. Then you have told you the @ that is used to separate the username from the domain name. Then the other part is the domain name that I've told that is subdivided into 2, the top level and low level domain name. So the top level domain name and low level domain name. The domain name is all about establishing the server, the particular server that is in charge of managing your emails. For example, Yahoo. That email address is being hosted by Yahoo server. Gmail. The email address is being hosted by Gmail server. Okay, let us proceed, members. When you look at the screen there, I've tried to demonstrate an email that is opened down here, but you're going to see that part. Then I'm saying a top level domain on that email address of ours, the .com is the top level, and the other Gmail or Yahoo, the first part, is the low level. The top level is used to identify the type of organization which that email is attached to. Now, down there, I'm saying we have some other top level domains that are being used to refer to. For example, when you say .com, it is a commercial enterprise or an individualized in commercial business. SC, it is academic institution. For example, a school like this one, if she wants to create its email address, yes, they can create it and has the top level as .what? .sc. .edu also for education institutions. .org for non-government organization or non-commercial organizations. The military, they use .mil. Yes. So those one, the top level helps the other server to know which kind of email they are managing. It belongs to which kind of individual. Fine, let us move on. We are saying that for email addresses outside United States, in case the email addresses are coming from countries that are not USA, they are accompanied with the country last two alphabets that are used. Yes, the alphabets share some two characters that are employed. So you may find that if it is for Canada.ca.u for Australia and so on and so on. Try to find out for all other countries which other top domain characters do they use to attach to their email addresses. Now, we are almost going to that point of managing and creating our email addresses. Now, let us talk about email softwares. Email softwares, these are programs that help us to create email addresses. The email addresses we are talking about, they don't just come from what? From space. It's just by magic, they say, my email is servamba@gmail.com or servamba@yahoo.com. No. We have what you call those softwares that help us to create those email addresses. Such softwares, some we access them through online. Yes, you have to be on the internet when you are connected, then you access them. Don't say that I'm going to install them on my computer, then I use them to create my email account. Most of them, they access through what? Through online. You have the list there. These are programs that are used to create and manage our email addresses. Please, in case you want to create one, you can go to your browser, then you type there, maybe Microsoft Outlook. Then you'll be able to access the window where they will let you to go through the process of creating that email account of yours that you want. You go there and type there gmail.com or just Gmail. When you say gmail.com, it means that I want to create an email account that's in line with, or that's the commercial one. So Yahoo, Front, Zoho, and so on and so on. There are some others, members. Please, those are softwares that help us to create email accounts. They help us to create email accounts. So when we open our browsers, then you can select one of them, then you can use it to create your email account. Yes, those are the shapes they use to refer to them. For example, that one for Outlook and some others. Please, we'll move on. Sending and receiving an email. I've told you in the beginning, to send and receive an email, the two, you should have what you call email accounts. You should have what you call internet connection. Then you should have what you call an email client. The other software, the other hosting server for your email. Okay. Now we are going to go through within the remaining few minutes the process of creating an email account. That's what we are going to go through, the process of creating an email account. I want us to learn how we are supposed to do it to create an email account, so that people they are aware of how to create an email account. Back here a bit. Sorry for that interference, because I'm using the very machine to see that we access the other service of creating the email account. Yes, I've tried to open it. Now, assume I want to create my account. From what? Let us use Gmail. Maybe if I want to create one from using what you call Yahoo, I will type there Yahoo. Let me type in lowercase. Yahoo Mail. I see. Then you press enter. Then you'll be able to log in. Now there is no connection there. Let us use here. The Gmail is already opened here. Now, then I'll select here. Now I want to go through the process of creating an account. It's quite enough that this machine, just particular email addresses that are already in use, but in case you don't have one, you go to that option of create account. And when you click on that option of create account, they'll ask you, you want to create that account for who? For myself, for my child, or to manage my business. See? So I want to create an email for myself. I will click on myself. Then here they are telling me to type there the first name and the last name. Yes, let me use my first name. I'm called Ahmed. Let us use Ahmed. Okay, sorry, the spelling. Ahmed. Let me use Chibuka. My first name I'm called Chibuka. Even there's no problem whether I use lowercase or capital. There's no problem. Chibuka. Maybe here. Chibuka Isaac. Yes, I'm called Chibuka Isaac. I see. Down here, it has generated a list of some of the usernames that I'm going to use. Yes. In case you are comfortable with those usernames that are suggested by the system, you have a right to just continue with them. In case you feel you are not okay with them, you have a right to change. Then you generate one that you feel you are very okay with. For example, for me, maybe I want just to call it Chibuka Isaac, to be plain like that. Chibuka Isaac. Then it is asking me for the password. I think it is telling me the username is taken. Try another one. That username is already in use. That's why it is telling me, please try another one. So if the username is already in use, the server. I've talked about the servers that are managing my account. The Gmail server that is going to manage my account cannot allow me to continue using the username that is already in what? In use. I have to select another one. Maybe let me put Shibuka Isaac 1 and I see. I see that one is also already in what? In use. I see. So if you say Chibuka I, let me see that one. It is already what? In use. I see. So in case you don't want to be disturbed with that, please you can select from the list that is given. There is this Chibuka I88. Let me use that one. Chibuka I88. I'm using one that is generated by the system. Chibuka I88. Then password. Which password are you going to use? You think about the password that you'll be able to remember all the time. Don't use the password that you not easily do what? Remember. The password to use should be one that you always do what? Remember. Let us use a password. If that side of yours, you're going to use a password for you to be able to remember. This side, I'm also using a password that I'm able to remember. Good. Which password? Let me get one here. Yes. After typing that password, you have to repeat the very password to confirm whether it is the one. Yes. Good. I'm through with that. Then next, you click on next now. Yes, they're asking you the phone number. And the phone number is based on the country. The country is already here displayed. In case you are not coming from Uganda, you can select until you are able to identify your country. Yes. But here we are in Uganda now, we live there and put here the number. Maybe 07 0786 27 70 90. So that's the number. Now there's the next part here, recovery email. In case you already have an email address, you are required to type that email address there so that in the case of any problem on your email account, you can easily get maybe the recovery password from that email address. But in case you don't have one, you can just leave it plain to move on to the next level. That's why here they are saying, where did this your account what? Secure. Then we go to our date of birth. Let me assume that I was born on 1st, which month of January, year 2000. Let me hope you are remembering the user name they generated. Please always, when you are through with identifying the username to use, you write it down for the first time, not forget it. You may forget the username. The longer period of what time. The email address, email accounts you create, they are not meant for use for a short period of what? Time. For a long period of time. Years and years. Now you identify your sex. Maybe, let me say I'm a male. Next. Good. They are saying privacy and terms. At this level, you are required to go through. The terms and conditions. They are guiding principles how the server and those people that are in charge of managing your account will be able, or how the way you are supposed to behave when you're using their service. So you have even more options. You can still scroll. You go through very well everything in the case you feel that you want to know how they do their things. Yes. Let me take it that I'm through with perusing through all the information and I'll manage to fully grasp what's there. And according to my head, I agree that that's all things that are there. I'll follow and I'll be able to abide with them. When I'm through with that, I'll click on I agree. So, shall click on I agree. Now, so I agree. Now it is going through the process of creating. Yes, it's going through the process of creating that account of mine. I've managed to create and it is opening it for the first time. Yes, it's for the first time. Let me see how it's going to be opened for the first time. Yes. Now for the first time it is opened. And when I'm through with creating my email account, members where you are now, you can be able to communicate with me through sending mail messages now. You can now send messages, then I'll be able to go through them. The email address is chibukai88@gmail.com. My students, please make sure that you do it and you will see how best you can do it. Okay. Let us now move on. Hope everything is okay. Wherever you are now, you are able to create an email account, please. Now, after creating an email account, the next part is all about understanding the features that are there. Then we have to go through them. We have features, for example, here is a part for the main menu. Yes. When you click on it, you have the first one is called Compose. There's another feature called Inbox. We have the Starred, Snoozed, Sent, Draft. Those are features that are very important that we interact with. We have Draft, this thing, important, all mails, spams, bin, and so on. We are going to go through those features. We get to know the proper way how we are supposed to interact with those features when we are using our email addresses. Now, to begin with, we are going to begin with the first one called Compose. Compose. We are going to click on Compose now. When you click on Compose, it is used to activate the window where the message is typeset, where our mail messages we are going to send is type what? Is type set. Yes. Let me take it that people where you are able to see it very well. When I click on what? On Compose. So when you click on Compose, then you will be able to activate that window where the mail message to be sent is type set. It's type set. There on the top there is two. We have CC and BCC. Yeah, two BCC and so on. Now the two. Are we seeing where there is two? I need to so that people can see very well. I'll try to zoom the window. Zoom in the window. The window there is, I'm saying, the first part is 2 for the recipients. The 2 is the future where we typeset the email address of the other person that we intend to receive our mail message. For example, I want to send a message or a mail message to this man called Silvamba s@gmail.com. I see. Silvamba s@gmail.com. Then I'll come here with the subject. The subject indicates the main heading. Normally, when we are writing our usual mail messages, the post mail messages, those ones, is where we indicate the reference that is outlining the major reason as to why that letter is being generated. Likewise here, that's we go to where there is the word subject and type there the main heading for that message you are going to send. Going back a bit here to CC, yes, there are times you want to send your message to a number of individuals at the same time. When you click on CC, it will allow you to type the email addresses. Yes. For example, I want to type the email address of that at gmail.com, comma, there's another one is maybe hdm@gmail.com. I think that when you are through with that one, you say comma until you finish all the email addresses of those members you want to receive that very mail or message. But as it is indicated that CC stands for carbon copy. That feature will also acknowledge those other members who have received the very message, that they have also, that very message is also sent to some other members. Like the way it is done within the school environment. When there is any circular that is going to be circulated around all offices, they may just indicate CC, then they will display the list of those offices that have received the very mail. Then we have BCC stands for blind carbon copy. The blind carbon copy. This one is a feature that works in the same way like a CC, but it has the element of blind. It will help you to generate a number of email addresses for those members who are going to receive the very message, but those members will not be able to know that they have received the very mail message. So blind is used for covering the list of the email addresses of those members who have received the very message. So when you click on it, you do the same. You come back and type the email addresses of those members you tend to receive the very mail message, but you don't want them to know that they have received the same mail message. Yes. Subject, you have with the heading for our mail. The heading, the main reason as to why you're writing that message. Then here, when you go reach here, then you begin. Maybe the way we start our letters, dear sir, the way you can say and so how you write the very letter. The way we write our very letters, that's the way how we do it. Now, I'm through with generating the message that I want to deliver to some other members. The very thing has the capability to allow me to accompany some other files to my members, some other files on that mail message of mine. And there is a feature here called attach files. When you click on it, it allows you to locate a file on that computer of yours. For example, that file, disadvantage of it, and then you open it. Yes. Now, I see the file contains a lot of information and it's taking me to another feature called Google Drive. When I'm okay with it, then I'll just click OK. Then Google Drive will begin the process of attaching my file that is going to be sent to some other members. Yes. So we have some other features here. There is one for pictures and the others. You are going to find out how to use those features as we are moving on to this story. Okay, let me cancel it because of time. There's another one here called insert a link in case there is a link that you want people to view. Okay, you can insert a link. There's what you call emoji. These are the things, emoji, we use them to express our feelings or our emotions. We can use them. They're also available here. The way you do it in what? In your, maybe your WhatsApp and so on. Use them in your chat rooms as you are communicating to one another. We have a number of what? A number of them. You can just identify one you want to use, then you are able to use it. They have a lot of meaning, so you can use them. I've told you Drive, I've told you how Drive works. It works in case you have a file, those files that are very large in size. Those one we attach them through that drive. We have insert a photo in case there is a photo you want to insert to accompany your work, you can do it, and so on and so on and so on. People, we are somehow time bad. Let us try to be very fast. I have some features here I want to talk about. The inbox that is used to store all the received mail messages. All those email messages you get, they are stored in what? In inbox. I have sent all those ones that are created or generated by you. They are stored in what? In sense. So that every time you can have a reference of them. We have what you call draft. Yes, those ones that you create but not what? Sent. More. Here we have what we call the charts. Good. All mail. We have the spam. The spam is used to store those mail messages that you don't know where they are coming from. The uncalled for mail messages are stored in what? There are people who are good at forging our email addresses, and you may find that you may receive some messages but may fail to be stored in what? In inbox. Such mails can be stored or are commonly stored in what you call the spam. The bin, all the messages we delete, they go to the dusty what? To the dusty bin. So we need to be aware that when we are using our email messages, we should know so we are through with that process of practicing of how to create an email account. I know by the end of today's lesson, all of you will be able to create an email account. Then you'll be with your email what? Email address. The next part there, as members, we are trying to finalize. Let's briefly go through parts of an email message. The other email message we have talked about, members, is broadly categorized into what? Into three. It is broadly categorized into what? Three. So the message is grouped into three parts. It has what we call the message header. The message header. The other part where we type the email addresses of those individuals that who are meant to receive our mail message. That part is the mail header. We have what you call the message body, where you type the exact information you intend to send to the other individual. Then you also have what you call the message envelope, the last part for signatories of that person who generated that mail message. The contact details about you down there of the person who generated the message. That one is the message envelope. So the mail message is broadly categorized into three parts. So that's why I'm saying that the message header, let me try to make a simple adjustment here. The Then we see how to do it. Okay, that simple adjustment shall made. So I've told you three parts: body, head, and the envelope. Those are the three parts it make up. Now the message header, it has the following components. One, the from. Yes, that contains the email address of that person who managed to send a message to you. So all those email addresses of those members where the mail messages are coming from, their email addresses are stored or are indicated on what you call from. Then you can see there on the screen, this part, that's where I'm talking about. The whole of this part is the message header. Yes, the whole of that part. Yeah? You can see the subject heading I talked about, photography studio grand opening. I see. And I'm saying, hey everyone. So the whole of this one is the message body. The message body is here. And this last part here is the message envelope I was talking about. So these are the three categories of the mail message. Two, remember we are going through some of the email features. Still within that header, we have the tool. I've demonstrated how to use the tool. That in case you want to send a message to another person, you go where there is a tool, you type the email address of that individual. Yes, that you intend to receive that message. Then we have the date. This one is generated by the system itself. It contains the date and time when the email message was sent. Then we have what's called a subject. I've told you the subject. This contains the phrase or the statement that summarizes the main theme, the main content within that message you are going to send. In other words, when somebody goes through that subject, should be able to tell very fast what is inside that mail message. Good. Move on to another part, my friends. The CC. The CC student stands for carbon copy. I've told you carbon copy that it contains the email address or addresses of those CPS to whom the same copy of the mail message is being sent with acknowledgement that they have received the same message. There is acknowledgement. Therefore, the way I've told you within the school environment, we normally see CC indicating those officers that have received the very communication. Likewise, when the particular mail message is able to reach the final destination, it will also display that list of all those members that have received that very mail message. The BCs I've told you, blind carbon copy. Members, these are features of what you call an email. We have what you call the blind carbon copy. The blind carbon copy. I'm saying it's all about the email address of those, it displays the email address of those members who are going to receive that mail message, but are not acknowledged that they have received the same mail message. So we go through, I've managed to attach those notes. I wanted to share about your complaints in case there's any query, something that you want us to go through but have failed to get one. It appears, members, as if you are contented with what we are talking about. In case you have some questions, please, you can do it. You're almost coming to the end of our lesson. We have a number of advantages and disadvantages we are supposed to discuss about. So, it will be the beginning point for us when we meet again. It will be our beginning point to discuss about the the advantages of email. However, there are some other features people have not talked about within that. There are some other features you have not talked about, but we shall discuss about them when we meet again within another lesson. With those few, I want to stop here for today until we meet again. Please stay safe. COVID is still there as you are waiting for schools to be opened. But try to remind your friends who are not connected, please, to do so. Why? We are busy going through this work and you may not have time to go through it again. Please tell them to do it, to find ways of accessing the go through lessons. Otherwise, you may not have time to go through all the work when schools are opened. Okay. Otherwise, I want to